In the vast tapestry of human endeavor, few have dared to venture where the maps turn blank, where the horizon fades into mystery. The Viking mariners, bold and unyielding, embarked upon the North Atlantic's tempestuous expanse, driven by the siren call of lands unseen. Amidst this relentless surge of exploration, the figure of Erik the Red looms large, a man of indomitable spirit, whose exile from Iceland forged a path to the icy reaches of Greenland. Here, in this stark and formidable wilderness, his colony took root, its presence a testament to the Norse will to conquer the unknown. As the icy winds howled across the fjords, the Viking longships, their prows carved with snarling beasts, sliced through the frigid waters, their sails billowing like phantom wings. With each stroke of the oars, they carved a new destiny, one that would beckon future generations beyond the familiar confines of their world. The tales of Erik's exploits, woven into the sagas of their people, spoke of a land harsh yet bountiful, a place where challenges and riches lay in equal measure. Erik's discovery of Greenland, a land of stark beauty and unforgiving climate, was but the prelude to a grander narrative. It set the stage for an epoch of exploration that would reshape understanding and ignite the imaginations of those who followed. The Norse, with their keen eyes set on horizons unbounded, charted a course that would see them cross the thresholds of what was once thought impossible, leading inexorably to encounters with worlds and peoples beyond their wildest imaginings. The land of Greenland, with its rugged vistas and icy embrace, stood as both refuge and challenge to the Norse settlers led by Erik the Red. Around the year 985 CE, Erik and his followers landed upon its shores, driven by necessity as much as by adventure. This new realm, with its fjords carved by ancient glaciers and meadows fleetingly green under brief summers, became a canvas upon which they etched their survival and their hopes. In this harsh environment, they built their homes from the very earth, a testament to their ingenuity and resilience. Turf walls rose from the ground, offering warmth against the chill winds that swept down from the ice cap. The Norse farmers, with hands calloused by toil, coaxed life from the reluctant soil, their livestock grazing amidst stony fields. Each day was a negotiation with nature, a balance between endurance and adaptation. Yet, within this struggle lay triumphs, as the settlers established a foothold that would endure for centuries. The community, forged in the crucible of hardship, grew resilient, evolving in response to the land's stark demands. This was a tale not of conquest, but of coexistence, between man and nature, and between the past and a future yet unwritten. Greenland became more than a distant outpost. It was a launchpad, a gateway to further exploration and to the lands that lay waiting beyond the western horizon. Leif Erikson, driven by the spirit of his father, embarked upon a voyage that would etch his name into the annals of history. Around the year 1000 CE, the sea whispered its ancient call, and Leif, with a heart stirred by curiosity and courage, set sail from Greenland's shores. In the embrace of the North Atlantic, his longship raced towards the promise of lands yet uncharted by those who came before. The journey was both arduous and exhilarating, a test of seamanship and fortitude. As the days stretched into weeks, the ocean's vastness became a canvas of endless blues, until finally the coast of a new world emerged from the mists. This was Vinland, a place of fertile ground and towering forests, where the air was sweet with unfamiliar scents, and the land was rife with possibilities. Here, in Vinland, Leif's journey found its culmination. He and his crew, strangers in a strange land, were pioneers on the edge of history, the first Europeans to set foot upon the continent that would one day be known as America. The name Vinland, with its promise of wine and bounty, echoed the dreams of those who would follow in Leif's wake. As he gazed upon this new world, its vastness stretching beyond his imagination, Leif Erikson captured both the spirit of adventure and the eternal quest for discovery that defines the human soul. Nestled within the windswept landscapes of New Newfoundland, a site of profound historical significance lay dormant for nearly a millennium. Meadows, a Norse settlement from the dawn of the second millennium, stands as a silent witness to the Viking presence in North America. It was in this remote corner of the world that the whispers of the past found voice, offering a tangible link to a time when Viking longships cut through uncharted seas. Archaeological discoveries unearthed here, reveal a settlement marked by both ambition and brevity. The remnants of sod-built houses and workshops speak of a community that thrived, however fleetingly, in a new land. Artifacts such as iron tools and spinning implements echo the daily rhythms of Norse life, their simplicity belying the complex tapestry of exploration and survival. At Meadows, the boundary between myth and history blurs, reaffirming the reality of Leif Erikson's quest. This place, where the northern world brushed against the shores of the New World, tells a story of intrepid explorers who dared to dream beyond their horizons. It is a poignant reminder of humanity's ceaseless curiosity and the unyielding spirit that compels us to seek out the unknown, forever forging new paths into the future. In the shadow of their exploration, the Norse settlers in Vinland found themselves face to face with the indigenous peoples, the Skraelings, as they came to be known. These encounters, fraught with tension and curiosity, marked the first documented interactions between Europeans and the native inhabitants of North America. The initial exchanges, tentative and cautious, were laden with mystery and mistrust. Trade ensued, a dance of tentative gestures and language unknown, as each group sought to understand the other. The Norse, with their iron tools and woven cloth, met the indigenous peoples, whose lives were intricately tied to the land and sea. In these moments, cultures collided and curiosity mingled with caution. Yet beneath this veneer of exchange, tension simmered. The Norse, driven by the desire to establish a foothold, found their ambitions challenged by the vastness of the land and the resilience of its original inhabitants. Misunderstandings and skirmishes shadowed their interactions, painting a complex portrait of contact, an encounter that was as much about coexistence as it was about conflict. Here on the edge of the known world, these first meetings were a prelude to the shared histories and struggles that would unfold across centuries as new worlds continued to collide and converge. Across the vast, uncharted seas, where the horizon held promises yet unfulfilled, ventured Thorvald Eriksson, brother to the famed Leif. His eyes were set upon the enigmatic expanses of Vinland, a realm whispered about, yet perilously uncharted. What mysteries lay beyond the rugged cliffs and verdant forests? Thorvald's expedition was not merely a quest for land. It was a daring voyage into the unknown, a tapestry woven of curiosity and ambition. Upon reaching the shores, the Norsemen beheld a land both alien and familiar, its beauty as captivating as it was foreboding. Here, amid the great pines and shadowed glades, they would first encounter those who called this place home, the indigenous peoples skilled in the ways of the land and stewards of a world the Norse had yet to understand. In these early meetings, hope for cooperation flickered like a candle in a storm. Exchanges were tentative, gestures laden with meaning unspoken. Yet beneath the veneer of civility, tension simmered, a fragile equilibrium bound by mutual curiosity and latent mistrust. As the days turned to weeks, the fragile peace began to crumble. A misunderstanding, perhaps, or an overstep by Thorvald's men ignited a spark of conflict. Spears and arrows flew, and the earth drank the blood of those who dared to dream of conquest. Thorvald himself would fall, a victim to the perils of overreaching foresight. This tragic encounter encapsulated both the promise and peril of the Great Convergence. Though fleeting, it left indelible marks on the Norse narrative, a poignant reminder of the fine line between discovery and disaster. In the annals of Viking exploration, few names shine as brightly as that of Gudrid Thorbjarnardóttir, a woman of extraordinary resilience and vision. A pioneer in her own right, Gudrid's journey across the North Atlantic was not simply a passage of distance, but a testament to the indomitable human spirit. Born into a time where the seas whispered tales of distant lands, Gudrid's life was a tapestry of adventure. She embarked upon her journey to North America with courage as her compass, navigating the tumultuous waters alongside her husband, Thorfinn Karlsefni. Upon setting foot in the nascent colony of Vinland, she found herself not just a settler, but a beacon of hope and adaptability. Her presence was a testament to the Norse capacity for resilience, her hands toiling alongside the men, sowing seeds of both sustenance and community. In this new world, life was a mosaic of challenges and triumphs. Gudrid's role extended beyond survival. She became a mother to Snorri, one of the first children born in Vinland, embodying the connection between old worlds and new. Her story echoes through time, a tale of human endurance and adaptability. Her legacy would endure long after the Norse departed these shores, a testament to the spirit of exploration and the possibilities that arise when determined souls venture into the unknown. Gudrid, a woman of the sea and soil, stands as a bridge between continents, her life a narrative of hope, resilience, and the promise of new beginnings. In the shadowy corridors of Norse history, the figure of Freydís Eiríksdóttir looms large, enigmatic and fierce. Her story, steeped in controversy, unfolds like a saga shrouded in mystery and defiance. Freydís, daughter of the legendary Erik the Red, journeyed to Vinland not only as an explorer but as a force of nature. Her fierce independence and formidable spirit set her apart, etching her name into the chronicles of a land where the line between legend and reality blurs. The accounts of her time in Vinland are as varied as they are vivid, a tapestry woven with threads of ambition and aggression. One tale speaks of her defiance in the face of danger, wielding a sword and rallying her frightened companions with a battle cry that echoed through the forests. Yet her story is not without shadow. Some accounts paint a portrait of betrayal, of disputes with fellow settlers that led to bloodshed and discord. Freydís, it is said, did not shy away from conflict, her actions sparking divisions that would resonate long after the Norse had departed. Complex and compelling, Freydís' saga is a testament to the multifaceted nature of human history. Her legacy is one of strength and controversy, a reminder that the stories of the past are as intricate as the individuals who lived them. In the tale of Vinland, she remains a figure of intrigue, her life a mosaic of courage and contradiction.
The fertile shores of Vinland, so full of promise, also harbored trials that tested the mettle of the Norse settlers.
As the seasons turned, the initial optimism gave way to the harsh realities of existence in this new world. The weather, ever capricious, shifted from gentle sunlit days to storms that lashed the coastlines with icy fury. Winter stretched long and unforgiving, cloaking the land in a mantle of snow and silence. The Norse, accustomed to the harsh climes of Greenland and Iceland, found themselves challenged by the unfamiliar rhythms of this untamed frontier. Resources, once thought abundant, became scarce. The settlers, reliant on their cunning and labor, struggled to sustain their fledgling community. Fish and game, once plentiful, proved elusive. Crops, sown in hopeful spring, sometimes failed to thrive in the unyielding soil. But it was perhaps the solitude, the profound isolation from their homeland, that weighed heaviest on their hearts. Surrounded by a vast, untamed wilderness, the settlers were reminded daily of the precariousness of their venture. These challenges, formidable and relentless, carved deeply into the souls of the Norse. Each struggle etched its mark, a testament to the enduring spirit of those who dared to call Vinland home. Yet, as the challenges mounted, the realization dawned that perhaps this land, so rich in potential, yet so fraught with challenge, was not to be their lasting home. In the end, it was the accumulation of challenges that led the Norse to a somber decision: to abandon their settlements in Vinland. This land of promise, though rich with natural bounty, demanded a toll that weighed heavily on the hearts and minds of its would-be conquerors. The decision was not made lightly. It was the product of practical necessity and a deep yearning for the familiar comforts of home. The relentless adversities, harsh winters, dwindling resources, and uneasy relations with the indigenous peoples culminated in a poignant realization that Vinland, despite its allure, was not to be their permanent refuge. As they prepared to depart, the settlers reflected upon their sojourn in this distant land. It had been a time of hope and hardship, of new beginnings shadowed by unforeseen trials. They would carry the lessons learned and the memories forged here back across the sea, back to a world more known, if not always more kind. Though their footprints would fade from the sandy shores and their voices quiet in the forests, the Norse left an indelible legacy. Their voyages to Vinland, however brief, expanded the horizons of the known world and left a lasting imprint upon the tapestry of history. And so, with sails unfurled, they turned their ships homeward, leaving behind a land that would long linger in their minds as Vinland, the land of wild grapes and untamed dreams, a place once touched by their presence, now a silent witness to the enduring spirit of human exploration. In the chill of Icelandic nights, where the northern lights weave their spectral dance across the heavens, tales spun from threads of courage and exploration have endured for a millennium. But what if these tales were not mere fables, but echoes of truth? The Vinland sagas, a rich tapestry of oral tradition, serve as the enigmatic bridge to a world once touched by the Norse. They tell of Leif Erikson and his daring voyages across the daunting Atlantic, where whispers of a land of plenty, Vinland, beckoned the brave. These sagas, recited by generations, are not just stories but vessels of memory, preserving the essence of Norse ventures into new frontiers. Within their verses we find the interplay of myth and reality, the poetic embellishments interwoven with kernels of historical fact. The saga of the Greenlanders and the saga of Erik the Red recount these voyages, weaving a narrative of discovery and hardship. In their saga-bound vessels, the Norse navigated not only the seas, but the complex currents of memory, keeping alive their encounters with the windswept shores of North America. Through these stories, the world of the Viking explorers transcended time, reaching across centuries to stir the imagination of modern audiences. As these tales were passed from tongue to ear, they were shaped by the landscapes of both Iceland and human perception, evolving yet steadfast in their core truths. Thus, the legacy of the Vinland sagas endures, a testament to the enduring power of oral tradition, binding the past to the present in an eternal narrative thread. In the meeting of worlds, where the Norse and indigenous peoples first stood face to face, lay a field of both promise and peril. These initial encounters, born from curiosity and necessity, unfolded under skies foreign to the Norse, within lands revered by its original stewards. The cultural exchanges between these disparate groups were complex and sometimes fraught with tension. The Norse, bringing with them iron tools and tales of their gods, found themselves amidst the rich tapestry of indigenous cultures, whose histories were painted across the very lands they called home. Initial trades of goods and knowledge teetered precariously, balanced on the fragile foundation of mutual misunderstanding. In these exchanges, there were moments of peace, shared technologies, the marvel of new materials, and the first tastes of unfamiliar foods. Yet such harmony was often overshadowed by conflict. Miscommunications could swiftly turn to hostility, with episodes of violence etched into the annals of oral history. Just as the Norse sought to carve their place in these new territories, the indigenous peoples defended their way of life, leading to a tempest of cultural collision. These encounters, though brief in the grand tapestry of time, left indelible marks on both societies. Memories of these interactions persisted, sung by generations of indigenous peoples, and echoed in the Norse sagas. Here, amid the echoes of ancient conflicts and alliances, history molded a new narrative, woven from the threads of two mighty cultures. The landscapes of Vinland, with its sprawling forests and coastal bounty, both beckoned and challenged the Norse settlers. Here in this verdant land, the environment itself emerged as a formidable presence, dictating the terms of settlement and survival. The Norse, seasoned mariners accustomed to the icy fjords of Greenland and the volcanic plains of Iceland, found themselves navigating a world where nature could be both ally and adversary. The changing seasons painted the land in starkly different colors, from the summer's promise of fertility to the harsh austerity of winter. Each season imposed its own demands upon the settlers. The abundance of timber and fertile ground offered tantalizing prospects for long-term habitation. Yet the climate bore challenges unforeseen, as winters proved harsher and summers less predictable than those of their northern homelands. The Norse wrestled with the realities of farming and survival in a land where the rhythms of nature differed from their own expectations. Ultimately, it was the environment, as much as any cultural conflict, that influenced the Norse decision to retreat. The delicate balance of resources, the weight of isolation, and the relentless demands of an unfamiliar climate compelled a return to more familiar shores. Thus, the saga of Vinland became not just one of exploration, but a poignant reminder of humanity's enduring dialogue with nature, a narrative etched into the landscape itself. Long before ink touched parchment, the stories of Vinland sailed on the breath of storytellers, carried by the currents of time from generation to generation. This oral tradition, vibrant and unyielding, served as the vessel through which the sagas of Norse exploration persisted. In the flickering glow of firelight, the tales of brave souls like Leif Erikson and his companions were spun with deft artistry, each recitation a performance that breathed life into history. The storytellers, custodians of cultural memory, wove these narratives with care, ensuring that the essence of the voyages lived on in the hearts of their listeners. The oral transmission of these sagas was not merely a recounting of events, but a dynamic act of cultural preservation. As tales passed from one generation to the next, they shaped and were shaped by the societal needs of the time, adapting to remain relevant and resonant. The sagas thus became more than history. They became living stories, ever evolving, yet rooted in core truths. Through this constant retelling, the sagas resisted the erasure of time, maintaining their place within the cultural fabric of the Norse descendants. They became the threads connecting the past and future, stitching together the communal identity of those who listened. Thus, in the echoes of these tales, we find the enduring power of oral history, forever binding the past to the present in a continuum of human experience. In the tapestry of human history, moments of contact between cultures often lead to exchanges that transcend the immediate to influence generations. The Norse encounters with indigenous peoples of North America, though fleeting, sparked such exchanges, leaving subtle yet profound imprints on both societies. The Norse, with their seafaring innovations and metalwork, brought knowledge that mingled with indigenous techniques and traditions. It is whispered in the annals of oral histories that some tools and methods of the Norse may have found their way into the hands of indigenous artisans, subtly altering the craftsmanship of the region. Similarly, the Norse absorbed lessons from the land and its people, gaining insights into survival in this new world that defied their expectations. The local knowledge of flora, fauna, and weather patterns, shared through tentative alliances, enriched the Norse understanding of their temporary home. These cultural exchanges, while often overshadowed by conflict, hold within them the essence of human adaptability and resilience. They remind us that even in moments of tension or brevity, the cross-pollination of ideas can flourish. In the quiet aftermath of these encounters, seeds of understanding were sown, creating a legacy of shared human experience that echoes into our present, offering hope for future dialogues between cultures. In the quiet dawn of the Norse retreat from North America, one cannot help but wonder what echoes lingered in the minds of those weary travelers as they turned their ships toward the familiar shores of Greenland. The decision to depart was not born of haste but of necessity, carved from the unyielding realities of a harsh and uncharted land. As they gathered their diminished supplies and prepared for the perilous journey home, a somber resignation filled the air, heavy with dreams deferred and questions unanswered. To the Norse, this land, which they called Vinland, had once promised untold riches, fertile soils, and a new chapter in their storied saga of exploration. Yet their ambitions were thwarted by the unforgiving elements and the elusive, complex interactions with the indigenous peoples whose land they had touched but never tamed. The pressure of these uncertainties weighed heavily, compelling a retreat that was as much an emotional withdrawal as it was a physical one. As the longships drifted away from the shores, the Norse left behind more than just wooden frames of temporary shelters. They left mysteries, seeds of stories that would be whispered across generations, echoing through the annals of history. What truths had they uncovered? What connections had been forged or broken? Such questions linger like the mist upon the sea, unanswered yet hauntingly persistent. Their departure marked the end of the Norse presence in North America, but it was not an end to the saga. Instead, it was a poignant pause in a tale that would be revisited in the Icelandic sagas, where the boundaries between myth and history blurred into the tapestry of human memory. And so, as the horizon swallowed their fading silhouettes, the Norse retreat from North America became a chapter of wonder and introspection, leaving us to ponder what might have been had circumstances allowed for a different fate. Nestled amidst the rugged beauty of the North Atlantic, Iceland stands as a beacon of both isolation and connection, a keeper of stories that bridge worlds and eras. In the quiet of its volcanic landscapes, a rich tradition of storytelling has flourished, preserving the tales of Vinland with a reverence befitting their legacy. These sagas, born from the oral traditions of the Norse, would find their most enduring home in the manuscripts of Iceland. The Icelandic sagas are more than mere accounts of voyages and conquests. They are the vessels of cultural memory, infused with the spirit of exploration and the allure of the unknown. Here, the stories of Leif Erikson and his kin are not just records of past events, but living narratives entwined with Iceland's own history of discovery and survival. It is in these tales that the Norse encounters with North America have found their immortality, capturing the imagination of generations yet to come. As night falls over the fjords and the auroras dance across the sky, one can almost hear the whispered recitations of these ancient texts, echoing the voices of those who first penned them. In Iceland, a land shaped by fire and ice, the sagas of Vinland have been cherished and safeguarded, their truths and embellishments alike woven into the cultural fabric. Thus, Iceland becomes not merely a geographical waypoint, but a spiritual custodian, an island where the stories of Vinland endure against the passage of time. Through the sagas, Iceland not only preserves the past, but also enriches its own identity, ensuring that the legacy of the Norse explorers remains a vibrant part of its living history. With each voyage that cut across the vast ocean, the Norse expanded the map of their known world, pushing the boundaries of the medieval imagination to embrace new horizons. The exploration of North America was a daring endeavor, an epic chapter in the annals of human curiosity and courage. As the Norse ships traversed the frigid waters, they charted a course not only across the sea, but also into the uncharted territories of consciousness. In the great tapestry of exploration, the encounters in Vinland signified more than just geographical discovery. They represented a profound shift in how the world was perceived. To the Norse, this was a world of promise and peril, a canvas upon which their sagas would inscribe new legends. The lands they uncovered were rugged and raw, yet each shoreline and forest whispered ancient secrets waiting to be unveiled. These voyages were transformative, altering the very fabric of Norse society and its place in the world. The existence of lands beyond the horizon challenged prevailing notions of geography, prompting a reevaluation of the known universe and inspiring future generations to look beyond their own shores. Each map drawn from these explorations became a testament to human resolve and a beacon for those who dared to dream. As we contemplate the ever-changing map of the world, we see a reflection of our own unceasing quest for knowledge and adventure. The legacy of the Norse explorers lives on, not just in the places they visited, but in the enduring spirit of exploration that continues to guide us toward the unknown. In the grand tapestry of discovery, the legacy of Viking exploration stands as a testament to the indomitable spirit of adventure that courses through the veins of humanity. From their fjord-lined homelands, the Norse set sail into the wild unknown, their longships cutting paths through the oceans that would shape the currents of history. Their daring voyages to North America, though fleeting, laid the groundwork for future explorations that would eventually chart the globe. The Norse expeditions were not mere acts of conquest or colonization. They were bold statements of human curiosity and resilience. Each venture into the unknown was driven by a desire to expand horizons, to discover what lay beyond the edge of the map. In this way, the Norse explorers became pioneers, their journeys echoing through time as precursors to the era we now call the Age of Discovery. As the world grew smaller with each new discovery, the Norse spirit of exploration endured, inspiring generations of explorers who would follow in their wake. The seeds they planted in the fertile soil of human imagination would bloom in the voyages of Columbus and the circumnavigation of Magellan, each step building upon the legacy of those who had dared to traverse uncharted waters. Thus, the legacy of Viking exploration is not merely a relic of the past, but a beacon of possibility, a reminder that the thirst for discovery is timeless and ever-present. As we reflect on their journeys, we are reminded of our own potential to explore, to push the boundaries of the known world, and to find our place within the ever-expanding story of humanity. The echoes of Vinland, though distant in time, continue to resonate in the corridors of modern history. The sagas of the Norse explorers are more than just tales of maritime adventure. They are narratives that have captured the collective imagination, inspiring a legacy of exploration that stretches into the present day. These stories, preserved through the ages, have become a touchstone for those who dream of distant shores and uncharted territories. In contemporary times, the Vinland sagas have found new life, weaving their way into the fabric of modern storytelling. They have inspired explorers, writers, and thinkers, each finding within these ancient texts a spark of inspiration that transcends time and place. The enduring allure of these narratives lies in their ability to speak to the universal human desire to seek out the unknown, to chart new paths where none have ventured before. As we stand on the brink of new frontiers, be it through space exploration or the depths of the ocean, the spirit of the Norse explorers remains a guiding light. Their stories remind us of the courage and tenacity required to venture beyond the familiar, to embrace the challenge of the unexplored. In this way, the Vinland sagas continue to shape our understanding of exploration, urging us to look beyond the horizon. Thus, the tales of Vinland, with their blend of myth and history, remain vibrant and relevant, echoing through the annals of time. As long as there are new worlds to discover, these stories will remain a testament to the enduring power of human curiosity and the unyielding quest to uncover the mysteries that lie beyond our view. What mysteries lie hidden in the enigmatic lands the Norse called Markland? Beyond the well-trodden paths of Vinland, these territories stretched vast and shadowed, cloaked in the whispers of uncharted woods and the legends of the northern seas. As Norse explorers, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a yearning for new horizons, set sail from the known coasts of Greenland, they encountered a realm both rich in resources and shrouded in the unknown. Markland, meaning the land of forests, bore the promise of timber and game, a tantalizing prospect for those accustomed to the stark barrenness of their Greenlandic settlements. These lands, believed to be the modern-day Labrador, were not devoid of life or mystery. The Norsemen, with eyes accustomed to the fjords and glaciers of the north, marveled at the dense forests and the abundance of wildlife. Here, the boundaries between the natural and the supernatural seemed to blur, with the whispered tales of the Skraelings, the indigenous peoples, adding an aura of intrigue and enigma. Yet, the Markland's allure was tempered by the Norse's fleeting presence. Expeditions here were often brief, leaving behind scant traces of their passage. The sagas speak in hushed tones of encounters, both cordial and fraught, with the native inhabitants. These interactions, though limited, hinted at a shared existence, fleeting and ephemeral like the mist upon the fjords. As we delve into the lore of Markland, we are left to ponder the enduring allure of the mysterious, an allure that beckoned the Norse across the Atlantic's vastness. Thus, the land remains a tapestry of stories unfinished, a chapter of exploration that invites us to imagine the countless narratives left unwritten in the sands of time. In a world often perceived through the eyes of its most daring men, the contributions of Viking women emerge as a tapestry woven with courage, resilience, and foresight. Central to this narrative is Gudrid Thorbjarnardóttir, a woman whose life story reads like an epic of its own. From the icy fjords of Iceland to the mysterious shores of Vinland, Gudrid's journeys defy the traditional confines of her time. Her presence on these voyages was far from symbolic. Instead, it was deeply transformative. Gudrid, often revered as the far traveler, brought not only her own indomitable spirit, but also the skills of diplomacy and survival that were essential in navigating the delicate and unknown dynamics of the New World. She, alongside others like Freydís Eiríksdóttir, carved a place for women in the annals of exploration, challenging the conventions of gender roles in the Norse society. Freydís, fierce and unyielding, is remembered for her boldness and tenacity. Her story, though shrouded in the mists of legend, speaks to the strength and agency of women in these distant endeavors. Together, these women were not merely passengers, but pivotal figures whose decisions and actions were integral to the survival and success of these ventures. In the dim glow of the hearth fire, tales of these women explorers would inspire generations, reminding us that the spirit of exploration is not bound by gender. Their legacy, woven into the sagas, invites a reflection on the vital roles women played, not only in exploration, but in shaping the course of history. As the Norsemen ventured into the unknown, their journeys left an indelible mark upon the art and science of cartography, shaping the medieval understanding of the world. These explorers, guided by the stars and the sea, charted courses across the vast Atlantic, adding new dimensions to the maps of the time. Their discoveries, captured in sagas and oral traditions, gradually found their way onto the parchment and vellum of medieval mapmakers. The Vinland map, a controversial yet captivating artifact, stands as a testament to this influence. Though its authenticity is debated, it embodies the spirit of Norse exploration, a spirit that dared to dream of lands beyond the horizon. The Norse navigational traditions, with their reliance on natural phenomena and instinctive reckoning, contributed to a nuanced understanding of geography that would inform future generations. Medieval maps, embellished with fantastical creatures and mythical lands, began to feature traces of Norse voyages, blending reality with legend. These maps, though primitive to modern eyes, represented a world in flux, a world expanding beyond the confines of the known. In this quiet unfolding of lines and shapes, the Norse influence whispers through time, revealing a narrative not just of discovery, but of a quest to comprehend the vastness of creation. It is a reminder of the Vikings' role as pioneers, whose paths across the ocean were not just quests for new lands, but journeys that broadened humanity's understanding of the world and its mysteries. In the annals of history, the Norse encounter with the New World stands as a fleeting chapter, one of curiosity and exploration rather than conquest and settlement. As we peer into this past, we are drawn into a reflection on what might have been, a tapestry of possibilities woven with what-ifs and speculations. The Norse, with their daring spirit, stepped onto the shores of North America around the turn of the first millennium. Their presence, both ephemeral and profound, left imprints on the land and on the indigenous peoples they encountered. But what if these voyages had evolved into a sustained presence? What new alliances, conflicts, and cultural exchanges might have emerged from this prolonged intertwining of worlds? With their unique blend of seafaring prowess and adaptability, the Norse could have etched a more permanent presence on these shores. Yet, driven by the forces of nature and necessity, their encounters were brief, leaving us with tantalizing glimpses into a world where Norse and native lives intersected. As the Atlantic's waves continue to touch those ancient shores, we are left to ponder the legacy of these explorers. Their journeys remind us of the transient nature of human endeavors, a poignant reflection on the ever-rolling tides of history. While the Norse chapter in North America was short-lived, its echoes continue to resonate, inviting us to muse upon a history rich with untapped potential and uncharted paths. In the quiet northern reaches, where the land meets the sea, archaeologists continue to unearth the legacy of Vinland, shedding new light on the Norse presence in North America. These discoveries, emerging from beneath layers of earth and time, offer a bridge across centuries, linking us to the world of those intrepid voyagers. Recent finds at sites like Meadows reveal the contours of a settlement where Norse craftsmen once toiled and traded. Here, amid the remains of sod houses and workshop spaces, the story of a community comes alive, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the Norse in adapting to new environments. Artifacts such as spindle whorls and bronze pins whisper of daily life, of women weaving tales into fabric and men crafting tools for survival. Each piece, a fragment of a larger narrative, enriches our understanding of these early adventurers who dared to trespass the horizons. As we sift through the soil of time, these vestiges of the past offer hope, a reminder that history is not only the domain of the written word, but also of the silent witness of artifacts. They speak to a legacy of exploration, of a people whose journeys across the sea were as much about discovery as they were about survival. In these remnants we find inspiration, a quiet assurance that the stories of the past are never truly lost, merely waiting to be uncovered and retold, rekindling the spirit of adventure that led the Norse to the edge of the known world. What strange allure draws us, century upon century, to the icy fjords and rugged longships of the Vikings? The Norsemen, fearsome and fearless, braved the tempestuous North Atlantic, leaving behind tales that shimmer like the northern lights across the annals of history. Their sagas, woven from the threads of adventure, conquest, and discovery, have survived the relentless march of time, captivating us with their blend of fact and folklore. In the shadowy halls of Scandinavian longhouses, stories were spun by the flickering glow of hearth fires, recounting the voyages of intrepid explorers like Erik the Red and Leif Erikson. They traversed vast oceans, discovering lands that lay beyond the horizon, lands that would come to be known as Vinland. It was a world where myths were born, where gods walked among men, and where the mundane and the magnificent were seamlessly intertwined. Yet why do these tales endure, resonating even now in a world so far removed from icy seas and timbered boats? Perhaps it is the indomitable spirit of the Vikings themselves, their unyielding determination to carve out a place in the world, that speaks to our deepest instincts. They were artisans and farmers, explorers and warriors, each role a facet of a complex and enigmatic culture that continues to intrigue scholars and storytellers alike. The Norsemen's legacy, etched into the stones and sagas of their homeland, remains a testament to a time when the world was a vast, uncharted tapestry waiting to be discovered. In this enduring mystique, we find a mirror reflecting our own desires for adventure, for understanding, and for connection with the stories of those who dared to dream beyond their shores. In the tapestry of modern culture, threads of Norse mythology and history weave through with vibrant hues, illuminating the stories we tell today. The echoes of Odin's wisdom, Thor's strength, and Loki's mischief dance through the pages of novels, the frames of films, and the pixels of video games, reminding us of an ancient world where gods and heroes coexisted in the realms of the imagination and the earth. The legacy of the Norse, once confined to the rugged landscapes of Scandinavia, now stretches across continents, resonating with audiences far removed from their icy origins. In the epic narratives of J.R.R. Tolkien, the influence of Norse myth can be discerned, casting a shadow over Middle-earth with its echoes of Valhalla and Asgard. Likewise, the silver screen has often embraced these myths, bringing to life tales of valor and tragedy, imbued with the timeless themes of fate and destiny. Indeed, the Vikings themselves have become larger-than-life figures in popular media, their exploits immortalized in television dramas and historical documentaries. Through these depictions, a new generation of storytellers breathes life into ancient tales, ensuring their place in the collective consciousness of the modern world. This enduring fascination speaks to a universal yearning to connect with the past, to find within it the stories that shape our understanding of heroism, adventure, and the human condition. As we delve into the tales of the Norse, we discover not only the echoes of a bygone era, but also a reflection of our own hopes and dreams, carried forward on the wings of myth and memory. In the quiet moments of reflection, as the sun dips below the horizon, the stories of the Viking explorers unfurl like whispered secrets on the wind. With each heave of the oar, each gust in the sail, these intrepid Norsemen ventured into the unknown, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a restless desire to chart the mysteries of the world. Their journeys were not merely quests for new lands, but also for knowledge, for understanding the vastness that lay beyond the familiar fjords of their homeland. As they set their sights westward towards the distant shores of Vinland, they embarked on a voyage that was as much about discovery as it was about exploration. The spirit of these journeys reverberates through history, echoing in the great age of exploration that followed, when the world became a canvas for human ambition and ingenuity. Like the Norse before them, explorers of later centuries would grapple with the challenges of the unknown, driven by the same desires to uncover what lay hidden beyond the edge of the map. Even today, as we look to the stars and dream of distant worlds, the legacy of these early explorers endures. Their stories remind us of the resilience and courage that define the human spirit, of the unyielding quest to understand and explore. In their voyages, we find a mirror, reflecting humanity's enduring journey, a journey that continues to unfold, guided by the stars and carried forward by the winds of curiosity. Beyond the pages of sagas and the remnants of ancient settlements lies the untold story of Vinland, a narrative woven with threads of possibility, rich with the mystery of what remains unseen, unheard. These unwritten chapters speak of encounters not recorded, of moments lost to time, where the Norse and the indigenous peoples of North America met on the shores of an unfamiliar world. The known fragments of this tale shimmer with hints of a deeper, richer tapestry, one that intertwines two distinct cultures, each with its own traditions, its own stories to tell. Here on the edges of history, we find the echoes of interactions that shaped both the Norse and the native inhabitants of this land, leaving behind traces that whisper of shared experiences and untapped potential. What transpired in the quiet between the felling of trees and the building of long houses? What stories did the land hold, waiting to be discovered by those who ventured into its depths? These are the questions that linger, haunting the margins of recorded history, inviting us to ponder the vast expanse of human experience that remains beyond our reach. As we gaze into the shadows of these unwritten chapters, we are reminded of the richness that dwells in the unknown, the silent testament to the complexity of human history. It is a reminder of the interconnectedness that binds us all, across time and space, in a shared narrative of exploration and discovery. A narrative that continues to unfold with each new discovery, each new understanding of the past. As the sun sets on our journey through the pages of history, we find ourselves standing at the Great Convergence, where Norse and indigenous cultures met and mingled in the dawning light of a new world. This encounter, though fleeting, left an indelible mark on the tapestry of human history, a testament to the resilience and adaptability of those who dared to explore beyond the familiar. In this convergence, we see a microcosm of humanity's enduring quest for discovery and understanding. The Norse, with their seafaring prowess and unyielding spirit, and the indigenous peoples, with their profound connection to the land, each brought to this encounter a rich heritage, crafting a narrative that would echo through the ages. Though the story of Vinland is but a chapter in the annals of exploration, it serves as a poignant reminder of the shared human experience, of the ties that bind us across cultures and time. It speaks to our innate desire to seek, to explore, to understand the world and our place within it. As we conclude this exploration of the Great Convergence, we are left with a sense of hope, of curiosity, and of wonder at the vastness of the human spirit. For as long as there are horizons to explore, as long as there are stories to uncover, the legacy of these encounters endures, inspiring new generations to chart their own journeys into the unknown, guided by the stars and driven by the enduring call of discovery.